Getting rich slowly looks like nothing to the naked eye. It sounds like a quiet kitchen, a boring calendar, a phone that doesn't shop for you, an account that fills on payday and empties by design, and a person who has stopped arguing with themselves about every small decision. The change arrives disguised as tidiness. If you want the long game without the drama, you don't need a new personality. You need small habits that tilt the weak. None of them are heroic. Taken together, they make the difference between a life that needs luck and a life that prints margin. Here are 30 tiny practices told as a single story, so you can stitch them into your days without turning your life into a checklist. The first habit is a sentence you repeat when money lands. Pay yourself before you pay the month. An automatic transfer leaves your income account the morning it arrives and heads to savings and investments without your permission. The amount can be small at first. The point is sequence. When you make yourself first, your future gets fed before the world starts asking politely and then insistently. Over a year, this single tweak feels like getting a quiet raise. The second habit is to make a bills account that holds only fixed payments and runs on autopay. You stop mixing groceries with rent and car insurance with movie nights. The account becomes a conveyor belt. Money arrives, bills step on, and the belt carries them out on time. Missed payments vanish. Late fees stop eating your month. Credit scores climb because reliability became a default, not an act of will. The third habit is a free spend lane with a visible balance that you glance at every other day. It's the only number you check during the week. Not your net worth, not the market, just this lane. When it's high, you relax. When it's low, you glide. This habit turns "should we" into "what's the balance," which is a kinder conversation between present you and future you. The fourth habit is the 48-hour pause for non-essentials. Anything not on your list waits 2 days before buying. Most desires evaporate in that window. A few survive and feel better to purchase because you chose on purpose. The pause is a speed bump, not a wall. Money saved quietly piles up in places that start paying you back. The fifth habit is a kitchen default. 5 dinners, written and shoppable, that prevent 6:30 from becoming a credit card drama. You buy ingredients, not apologies. When the menu is boringly good, your month stops leaking through takeout apps. You still go out, but the plan chooses the nights, exhaustion doesn't. The sixth habit is naming your savings. Emergency, move, travel, opportunity, gifts, car repair. Labeled money behaves. You move it less and resent it less. You stop viewing savings as a jail cell and start seeing it as a set of rooms you built for future you to walk into when it's time. The seventh habit is a weekly 10-minute sweep on payday. You confirm transfers fired, bills are covered, the free spend lane is refilled, and any odd alerts get attention. Then you close the app. 10 minutes is short enough to do forever and long enough to prevent the small mistakes that turn into expensive weekends. The eighth habit is a phone that has to ask your permission to spend. No saved cards on browsers, shopping apps buried in a folder 2 swipes deep, promotional notifications off. Alerts on for large transactions and for low balance in your fun lane. Your phone becomes a door with a lock, not a slide into someone else's quotas. The ninth habit is buying quality where failure is expensive and used where longevity lives. You purchase a decent mattress, good shoes, and a sturdy pan because your body and your food touch them daily. You hunt used for desks, chairs, cast iron, and a bike because depreciation is your friend. This habit shifts you from replacing to maintaining, which is what wealthy households quietly do while everyone else is shopping. The 10th habit is keeping a diagnosis fund for machines that move you and protect you. When the car coughs or the roof drips, you pay without panic and schedule the fix. You avoid the interest tax on emergencies by enrolling the machines that matter in a small monthly premium, your own fund. The 11th habit is scanning loyalty and subscriptions with suspicion. Once a quarter, you search your statements for subscription, renewal, and trial. You cancel what doesn't make your week better. You rotate streaming services. You buy annual only when you're certain. You've turned autopay from a liability into an ally. The 12th habit is a raise rule you wrote before the raise arrived. A fixed share goes to investments. A fixed share erases a friction you actually feel, and a small slice buys a joy that marks progress. Money that's pre-promised to a better future never needs to be wrestled from today's mood. The 13th habit is to spend time, not money, on friendships. You host often, walk together, swap babysitting, cook in kitchens that feel like people live there. The bill for belonging drops and the quality of your week rises. Rich households are rich in people first. Money follows because fewer feelings need to be purchased. The 14th habit is tuning your inputs. You mute accounts that sell you new identities and subscribe to a handful that teach you a craft, a recipe, or a way to repair. Your brain stops shopping for a self and starts building one. Spending becomes a tool, not a theater. The 15th habit is a brag document at work. One page where outcomes live: revenue added, waste removed, hours saved, errors eliminated. Each quarter you add 2 lines and use them to ask for leverage: a raise, a title, a budget, or a different project. Income grows when you measure your usefulness, not your busyness. The 16th habit is learning to like used. You walk through thrift stores and estate sales with curiosity instead of disdain. You buy solid wood and repairable metal. You learn a basic finish, a basic stitch, a basic sharpen. Money saved is money not borrowed. Skills learned compound like interest. The 17th habit is to plan generosity. A small automatic line leaves each month for helping family, friends, and causes. You give steadily instead of dramatically. Planned generosity costs less and feels better. It also stops the yo-yo between guilt purchases and stinginess that breaks budgets and relationships. The 18th habit is to confine your financial inspiration to a page, not a feed. You keep an operating manual for your money: where to keep cash, what you invest in, when you rebalance, which bills are on autopay, how you respond to a pay cut, a windfall, or a market drop. When life gets loud, you follow the manual instead of your feelings. The 19th habit is sleep. 8 hours drops your spend on stress relief, reduces late-night shopping, improves your work, and lowers your health costs. There is no cheaper growth strategy than protecting the conditions in which you make good decisions. The 20th habit is to keep a small friction fix budget each month. You spend $50 or $100 eliminating tiny leaks: a lamp that makes evenings pleasant, a shoe insert that saves your back, a charging cable at your desk, hooks where coats fall, a shelf that finally holds the mess. Each friction removed lowers the urge to buy relief. Relief is the most expensive thing people buy when they're tired. The 21st habit is to keep an opportunity shelf stocked with ideas ready to fund: a certification that raises pay, a tool that enables a service you can sell, a small test batch for a product. When a windfall lands, you invest in one. Windfalls without a shelf become weekends you don't remember. The 22nd habit is micro-investing on a schedule you can't break. You automate a small daily or weekly buy into a low-cost indexed fund and turn on dividend reinvestment. You stop treating investing like an event. It becomes weather. Over time, the stream gets louder without you raising your voice. The 23rd habit is to choose a right-sized car and keep it. You spend on maintenance, not identity. Insurance, fuel, and payments shrink. The car quietly becomes a tool, not a subscription. Each month you don't owe a lender is a month you own your options. The 24th habit is a quarterly debt tune-up if you carry balances. You automate minimums, schedule an attack payment on payday, and watch one number: total revolving debt going down. When a balance dies, you roll its payment to the next. Momentum and boredom do the rest. The 25th habit is to be the person who plans the cheap version first. You text movie at Otters, park picnic Saturday, Chilean cards Friday. You don't wait for pricey plans to appear and then negotiate with yourself. You preempt the spend by providing the fun. People follow whoever sends the first message. The 26th habit is to shop once a week with a list and to keep a pantry that behaves. You buy staples that assemble fast, freeze portions, and label leftovers. The grocery budget steadies because the kitchen works. Chaos is the tax that delivery charges every tired household that refuses to plan for its own exhaustion. The 27th habit is to make your passwords and papers boringly organized. A manager holds your keys, beneficiaries are correct, essential docs live in one shared folder. Emergencies shrink on someone can turn the lights on without hunting through drawers. Organization is free compound interest on your time. The 28th habit is to measure your savings rate monthly and raise it by 1% whenever you can stand it. Tiny increases compound into shocking slopes. You never feel the jump on a single Tuesday, you notice the calm in a single December. The 29th habit is to capture the true cost of trophies. You write the hours behind the purchase next to the price. A $1,200 phone is X hours of your life. Sometimes you decide it's worth it, often you don't. Translating money into time returns you to the one currency you can't print. The 30th habit is to keep a short list of cheap joys, 5 or 10 things that reset you without asking for a card. A book in a chair you love, a walk at a time of day when the light is kind, a call to a friend, a playlist you made for a season, a nap without apology, a meal that smells like home. People who cultivate cheap joy stop renting expensive relief. They save by accident because their week is already good. These habits do not require talent, they require arrangement. You place objects where your future self will trip over them in the right direction. A water bottle on the counter, shoes by the door, a shopping list on the fridge, a default transfer on payday, hooks where backpacks explode, and an ads folder that catches promotions until Friday. The setup delivers more than motivation ever did. Motivation is loud and brief. Setup is quiet and permanent. Wealth that lasts is built under ordinary light. It comes from removing negotiation from the small things so your attention can hunt bigger prey. A better offer at work, a business you can test on weekends, a shape for your days that makes you hard to sell to because you're busy living. None of these habits will impress a stranger. All of them will hire your future. The bank balance that results will look suspiciously like a byproduct of someone who kept their promises to themselves in rooms nobody photographs. Start with 3. Pick the transfer on payday, the 5 dinners, and the 48-hour pause. Let them run for a month. Then add the phone rules and the weekly sleep. Then name your savings. Then the brag document. Layer slowly. Each tiny habit replaces a dozen decisions and frees the energy you were spending performing adulthood. You will notice, in a season, that you feel both less deprived and more in control. The week will get quieter, the account will get louder, and someone, somewhere, will ask what changed. You will shrug, tell them you cleaned your kitchen and your calendar, and you will not be lying. The small things are how the big things arrive.